welcome to a very lonely episode of the SuperGen podcast. As always, I am Alex, joined by Andy and Brian. Yep.
Hello.
And as always, shouts out to Wave Shaper for that excellent intro and later outro music.
I wish Wave Shaper was here with us today.
As a fourth chair?
Yeah, I'm pretty lonely.
To fill the extra void in our
There's a
hearts.
void right here
Yeah.
in between Alex and I.
Oh, man.
And the good news is there are no follow-ups this week.
Yeah.
We are complete from last week, so we can get right into that juicy goodness that you know and love.
Oh, yeah.
First thing on my list this week, Sega brings classic games to mobile.
Yeah.
In parentheses, years after third-party emulators have destroyed the market in every way possible.
Okay, so here's the thing. Sega brings classic games to iPhone.
Yes.
You know,
To iPhone, I guess you could say,
That's what
which
you
is a
could
big
say.
market.
It's a
huge market.
Big untapped market, and this is finally third-party, not third-party, but first-party
First
stuff.
party, yeah.
And to me, I think a lot of people will see that first-party like option available, and they're like, okay, I don't need that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't need that other stuff. Even though there's probably hundreds of technically pirated.
Like, why would I buy like Final Fantasy VII in like for $8 from the original company when I could just emulate it for free? You know,
Well,
like a lot of people are
and
doing
that's
that.
the big thing.
You know?
So Sega did it right in that the app is completely free to download.
Yes, which is cool.
There is, I want to say, 5 games available as of this podcast being out.
It's a good way to do it.
They are planning on adding like maybe a game every 2 weeks is kind of like the release schedule.
Which is cool. I'm down.
They're going to add games over time, and it's not just Sega Genesis.
Right.
So they've said that there's going to be Sega Genesis, there's going to be the Sega 1000 unit, and they have said that Sega Dreamcast is on the table, though it will not be. It will not be emulated. Crazy Taxi is already a separate app, but
it is. Isn't it?
there's a separate first-party app for Crazy Taxi.
That's great. I gotta
But
download
it
that.
will not be emulated. It will be games that are developed like for Android and
Interesting.
iOS.
Yeah.
From their classic library.
Sure.
So other games like for the Genesis is the biggest like library that they have to pull from.
sure.
Will just be emulated.
Yeah.
And then like newer games and other games that can't easily be emulated because those of people have been trying for a long time, kind of unsuccessfully.
Yeah.
They'll just develop directly.
Yeah, basically
for
the best you can do right now is like N64.
Yeah.
Like mobile, that's like,
Yeah.
and I can play, I've played Banjo-Kazooie on a smartphone for hours.
How did that go?
So it actually went well. So that's basically the peak of mobile
it's the best you can get right now.
emulation at the moment. Yeah.
So does this cement Sega as like a lightweight version of Nintendo finally?
I mean,
because everyone was talking about, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everyone was saying, Nintendo, just put your games on mobile. Come on, you know? Like, please, just put it on
look what happened
iPhone
when they
and
did.
you'll make $1 million bucks.
But here's the thing, Sega's
But they did
actually
not.
doing that, right?
No, they
didn't
what
put, like,
people
traditional
wanted
games.
to.
Yeah,
Yes.
no.
They created games
That's what I'm
specifically
saying.
for.
That's what I'm saying. Is
Yeah.
like Sega's actually putting
Their actual
games on mobile versus like Nintendo's like, okay, we'll make games for
Miitomo.
mobile. We'll make Miitomo and we'll do Mario Run,
Yeah.
Pokemon Go.
Pokemon
and,
Go, and like all this
influence
stuff.
the U.S. election and all this big stuff. You know what I mean? I mean, they, I think, to me, are cemented as like, poor man's Nintendo at this point.
Yeah, sure.
Like
I
all the
think
way
it's-
back from the 80s to now.
Yeah.
You can see
I think
it.
it's a good decision. I think it's a good choice
a
for
great
them to do
decision.
that for
Yeah.
sure. Because Nintendo doesn't have to. Is the
No.
thing. Like Nintendo is
They
making
didn't,
games.
and now they do not. Definitely do not.
Definitely don't at this point.
Have to.
Yeah, and Sega kind of does. You know, Sega kind of has to because otherwise people are just playing their games for free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they have to like make a very easy way for people to play their games.
Yep.
And them to make something from it.
So that's the important distinction here is people right now are playing their games for free.
Yes.
And in the future, or starting right now from Sega directly, they could be playing their games for free but watching advertisements.
Right.
Exactly.
And then they're
Which is
making money off
them
that.
Which is making money for Sega, so that they can,
Brilliant.
pursue, make actually a decent
Brilliant.
Sonic game maybe,
Yeah.
something like that.
Sonic Mania.
In that article, did it say that you could pay to remove the ads?
I think it's €2. It's something
yeah,
to
so
that
it's pretty
which
cheap.
is
So-
perfect.
Yeah.
That's
relatively
that is the best I gotta
low
say.
cost.
Yeah.
For app developers who are
Yeah.
making apps, like the kind of app that people will download and will give you money for are the apps that have ads.
Yep.
And you can just pay one time to remove the
remove
ads
those ads, and
forever.
then it's-
Yep.
That is the best way to do an app.
Yep.
Best way to do
So
an app.
Agreed.
will we see
That's great.
other vintage games and other vintage game companies go this route?
Like we'll see like Namco.
if
you know,
if
like,
Sega's successful with it, for sure. 100%.
yeah, and I think if
Well,
anyone,
Nintendo.
Probably
They've
not.
already said explicitly.
Probably not.
No.
We will not be releasing,
Yeah.
our classic games for mobile.
They'll
We're
keep-
going
they'll
to
I
keep-
be
want to
making
see
games
like
designed for mobile.
Namco Museum.
Oh,
you know?
yeah,
like
that'd be
Namco
good.
Museum
Yeah.
on mobile. I want to see that. Like the classic, actual like Galaga, Pac-Man, Miss
Yeah.
Pac-Man, the classic like Namco games.
Yeah.
On mobile, but implemented well.
Yes.
To be played in a fun way.
Yeah.
And
Well, and when people
that would be great.
When
you know?
people talk about like Nintendo bringing a big thing that comes up is like, well, hey, buttons are kind of important.
Yes.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
That's true.
And with Namco, I feel like that's the least true.
It's
Yes.
less.
You know what I mean?
It's less important because there's
true.
literally like
Pac-Man just swiping
one
a direction like worm or something
And
like
there's
that.
been a
or,
million versions of Pac-Man on mobile. There's
Yeah.
been a million versions, and it works fine. You literally just swipe on the screen in the
Yep.
direction you want to go.
Yep.
Works beautifully. But like, yeah, and most of their games are like that though. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, look at Galaga. Galaga is literally
Yep.
left, right, press a button to shoot some things. They are the most mobile friendly of the like classic game developers.
For sure.
I think.
Yep.
I think that'll work if they do that.
So shouts out to Sega for getting your fingers into a market that was already just dominated by people
Yeah.
dominating you, stealing content. Even like doing
great.
like a Google search,
Yeah.
to try to find that. Hopefully this will change in the near future, but it's like all these like emulator sites and
yeah.
all these like downloads for like third party things to like download for your phone when you
Yeah.
search like, Sega or Genesis on mobile or anything to that
Yep,
effect.
for
So
sure.
hopefully this allows them to establish that foothold and establish themselves and make it a better experience.
Yeah.
And then, other companies will follow suit.
I think so.
I think that'd be
Especially
great.
with the technology that the way things are going with being able to like cast your screen and cast
Yeah.
your device up to other devices, maybe I could see like a future arcade where it's like, put this on that,
Yeah.
And I maybe I own it or it's in my house and it's this like high-end arcade machine.
Yeah.
And I pick like things on there like with my mobile device and it's on the screen.
Yep.
And play with like
And as haptic touch becomes more and more feasible on the phones, I mean, it's just going to make buttons even easier too.
Right, for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, shout out to Sega. Next on the mobile market, I have my headline that I wrote for this is Niantic continues to hate on cheaters pending their new update for Pokemon Go.
Okay, what are they doing?
So, within the last week, since we recorded the last episode of the SuperGen podcast, we saw that they're going to release a large update for Pokemon Go, adding raid-style battles, adding overhauling, I guess, gyms, and how that experience works, and trying to take some of like you're only if you're the top this level of player can you play the actual end game content.
Right.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like right now, if you're someone like me who long ago got a new phone and did not download Pokemon Go for it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
there's very little incentive to get back into it because all I can do is really catch Pokemon.
Yeah. Because
I'm not going to be able to go to any of the gyms because I'm level 18 or whatever, and they're level 30.
Exactly.
And they, have, 2,000 CP Pokemon, and I have maybe 1,000.
Yeah.
On my like highest guy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's breaking down some of those barriers.
Yeah, it's
it
not-
looks to be like a good update.
Yeah, it's not the greatest design choice, because that is like we talked about this on one of the BJ's episodes.
Yeah.
About how multiplayer games
Yep.
they get to the point where people have played them for so long that it's impossible to compete if you are just getting into it. You know? And
That
it's
episode's
like-
going to actually go up on Sunday.
Yeah, and it is like this Pokemon
out
Go
for
is
it.
a
Sneak
good
peek.
little example of that. Yeah, it's a good little I literally infiltrated one of their episodes. It's great.
And interrupted the sacred BJ.
Right. But it's a good example of that because
Yeah.
like you like as a casual Pokemon Go
Yes.
player who just plays every once in a while and just catches some Pokemon.
Or
like,
someone who's new trying to
someone who's
come
new.
into the game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It is
The end
it's
game
not-
content is very limited.
It's not welcoming. you know, because you get into it and you get to a gym and you're like, oh, maybe I could do something here. No, you can't. There's nothing you can do there, you know, and so that's good that they're trying to kind of soften that a bit, you know.
I think Joe was saying like the Pokemons in the gym like depreciate after a while or something, and they lose.
Yeah, there's like a decay.
Yeah.
So in addition to this update, we have a quote from Niantic. So saying they hate on cheaters. Okay.
All right.
So. Cool. With the announcement of raid battles and the new battle features, we are staying true to our commitment to ensuring that Pokemon Go continues to be a fun and fair experience for all trainers. Starting today, Pokemon caught using third-party services that circumvent normal gameplay will appear marked with a slash in the inventory and may not behave as expected.
May not behave as expected.
They're going to start attacking your Pokemon.
Start eating other Pokemon.
We are humbled by the excitement for all the new features we announced yesterday. This is just one small part of our continued commitment to maintaining the integrity of our community in delivering an amazing Pokemon Go experience.
Interesting.
Sounds promising.
I am so interested in what that phrase may not behave.
That's where a lot of people are speculating. You are not the only one who is ready to speculate on this little quote. I think it can't really be anything other than like the classic. If you didn't have a badge high enough to control the level, it's like you know, Charizard is loafing about.
Yeah,
or, you know what
Charizard
I mean?
is
like,
loafing about. For sure.
You know, he refuses to obey. Something like something to that effect when you're trying to. But for being someone who's played the game, like the gym battles as they are before this update, because I don't live in, you know, where they're rolling out this new update where I can play it.
I think it's just San Francisco right now. Sweet.
Something like that.
Yeah.
There are some areas where they're rolling out the new features starting as of earlier this week.
Yeah.
They'll roll out everywhere else.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, they will roll out.
Yeah,
but
couple weeks.
It's very, you know, tap, 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 swipe, swipe, you know,
it's
like
stupid.
very fast to the point where it would be, I think, difficult for it to be like, you know, oh, this guy's loafing about, unless it just like ignored like the next 9
completely
inputs.
Ignores everything you do.
You know what I mean?
Just starts rolling around.
Yeah, absolutely. So that, I mean, is interesting.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know. Speculate further
very
if you think it could be anything else.
I want the ones with the slash to start attacking your Pokemon. Like, that just sounds so awesome.
That would
Like
be
attacking
I feel
your
like
own
that'd be
Pokemon.
attacking your own Pokemon.
I didn't even know that was a thing that was going on. That people were using like third party.
I had no idea. I don't play Pokemon Go, so I had no idea.
Catch Pokemon.
Well, yeah, I mean, so I mean, there's stuff out there that people are using to, you know, like power level, like bots and stuff like that, just like anything.
Yeah.
And then also there's third-party software out there used to locate Pokemon and when they're going to spawn and whatever else. So anything that they're able to, you know, like, hey, this guy's a cheater.
Yeah.
And this is something that they've been known for a long time. Within the app itself, they had like other like anti-cheating measures built in. And then also within like their other games, if there was a Pokemon that had like hacked stats or something like that, if you were to bring it into like Pokemon Battle Revolution or to a tournament setting, it would just be called a bad egg. That's how it would appear. So that it just and it wouldn't have any of its moves or anything else that it could do.
Right.
Because it would detect like, hey, there's no way that this Pokemon can have this stats. There's no way that, or it's very unlikely, you know, that it would have all 31, you know, IVs and beyond what it could for EVs and you know beyond all this other stuff. So they've been known for, I guess, like shadow banning or like, you know, putting little quirks in games for a long time.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense. I'm just interesting how Niantic's, like, I'm interested to know how Niantic is going to handle that sort of thing, you know, versus like Nintendo.
They got plenty of money. Okay?
Yeah.
Just throw money at it. You know what I mean?
You know.
Because if your game isn't fair and if your game isn't engaging, then people don't want to play it. Especially when, like we talked about, it's only the highest level of player that really get to play a lot of the end game content and enjoy a lot of it. So then when it feels like you can never reach that level because there's that bot that's up ahead of you. Or
that was always my impression. Like, I go to any gym, and I'm like, oh, my Pokemon's like level 242, you know? And I go to the gym and it's like, oh, that Articuno is level 40 billion.
Articuno hasn't made it in yet.
I didn't think that was possible at all.
I played this game a lot.
I am never going to get that.
I played this game a lot to summer when it came out. And I will say, pending the new update, I re-downloaded it.
For sure.
I was like, well, you know, I'll give this thing a shot. And I haven't caught any Gen 2 Pokemon yet. I haven't booted it up other than first time that like I re-downloaded it and was like, what's my login? Like,
Right.
past that level. I haven't messed with it a lot, but I am excited for the new update. And I hope it might get me back into it.
Gen 2, like the fact that there's Gen 2 Pokemon in it now, like might get me back into it because like Silver was my game. Like I played like Soul Silver really is like that's the game that I played more than any of the other Pokemon games. Just because that's like the generation that I love. I know all of those Pokemon by heart. Like so that's the one I'm interested in.
Silver was a huge one for me too.
Yeah.
I would say Gen 3 takes the cake for me. Sapphire was probably my favorite
I just
game.
didn't play it. And it just wasn't.
Or most
like,
nostalgia, I guess.
Yeah. I guess to be fair, the first like the real pinnacle for me was Crystal. That was the version
Crystal was a good one.
Crystal was the one that I played with Suikin and like that was my game. So yeah, still Gen 2. But it's I mean so the Gen 2 Pokemon being in there, I might play it again. I might re-download it. And actually.
When I opened the app for the first time, I saw a Cyndaquil briefly, and it immediately disappeared, and my guy just walked away, and I was like, well, okay. Opportunity missed.
Gone.
But hey, that's why you got to get out there and walk.
I think there was a big like fire and ice event going on recently where Cyndaquils were everywhere.
Oh, really?
Nice.
Yeah.
Missed my chance.
Probably gone now at this point.
So out of mobile and into mainstream media, NBC this week announced its plans to start broadcasting esports on national TV, on like your TV set, the old tube.
Great, I love it.
So their big first tournament is going to be Rocket League, which starts this summer.
Cool.
Yeah.
And it just, beyond that, like sub level, they're following TBS's footsteps and taking mainstream, media and integrating it with, this new media.
Yeah.
In that, video game being competitive, as like a sports event.
Yeah.
I'm so happy to see that.
Yeah. It's about time.
That.
It's about time.
Yeah, because it is, it is a competitive thing, like as much. Like you can argue depending on like whether it's as competitive as a real sport, I don't know, but it to me it is.
Sure.
To me it's just as interesting to watch that. To me it's more interesting to watch that.
Yeah.
But it's interesting for the same reasons,
Yeah, you're watching the best people.
The best people at
stepping
a thing
forward.
that you love, a thing that you're interested in.
Yep.
Like I play Overwatch like crazy. Everybody knows that. And watching like pros play Overwatch is amazing to me because I can watch them do things that I aspire to do.
Right.
Right. And so I watch, competitive Overwatch for the same reason anybody watches the Super Bowl.
Sure.
And I think that like a lot of people. The ads. Yeah, exactly. The golden loot boxes. But yeah, it's just a different, like it's a slightly different crowd of people, but I feel like there's a lot of overlap there.
For sure.
And especially now, it's becoming so much more engaging. And like Overwatch was the first like competitive game that I got into that I started watching like Overwatch competitive games, and I was like, man, this is like a real sports broadcast. Like people actually commented like commentating.
Yeah, the shoutcasters
games,
and stuff.
Yeah, I'm old
like
school,
crazy.
man. I've been watching since Halo back in the day.
But here's the thing,
Halo 2 and Halo 3.
I watched Smash tournaments like crazy before that.
Well, yeah.
But that's a totally different community.
Yeah.
Completely different. This is literally just like dudes that just love the game. They're just yelling about the game, and that's a completely different thing than this like professional esports
like
cast thing, which is
That's
like,
some of the best
totally
parts about
different to me.
BlizzCon too. Like there are different tournaments that they do there at BlizzCon for Hearthstone and Overwatch and Warcraft. And,
Exactly.
And that's like some of the
they
best
take
content.
that stuff so
Yeah.
seriously too. It's so different coming from the Smash community.
Yeah.
Coming from a company that doesn't give a crap about competitive
To a company
anything.
that thrives off of it.
To
Yeah.
a company that actually really cares about
Yes.
their competitive community and supports them really well.
Yes.
Nintendo.
So I don't think there's going to be a naysayer in the room
Right.
about this, obviously. But
course.
what do you think about their choice for picking Rocket League?
Rocket League is an
for whatever
interesting
reason
choice.
it is.
Yeah.
It's definitely interesting.
For the first big broadcast.
Have
that
they
they're going to
announced
do.
any other games that they might be doing like that, or is it just Rocket League right now?
At this time, that's their first invitational tournament.
Okay.
And right now, you can start qualifying and then you can be on TV and reach like that, national level by August.
I think it's a smart
For
choice
NBC.
because Rocket League has such a devoted fan base,
And I
the
also-
player base is really strong on that.
I
game,
also
so.
think it's a strong choice because it's so hype to watch, like seeing like super sick plays in that game that might get people into the idea that and it's also one of the closest actual sports, right? Like it's one of the closest video games that's actually like a sport.
Yeah, it's soccer with cars.
It's soccer with cars. That's what it is. So
and only 4 players.
It's a transitional. It's a transitional period, right? Like they're like slowly working their way up into real like competitive video games by working their way through sport video games. And I'm glad they're not doing like Madden or like like FIFA or
we already have the Madden tournament.
Like there's tons of that stuff. That is not
that was on TBS, right?
It was.
Yeah. But like that could be a good gateway drug to bigger
more
and better things.
And hey, it's coming to the Switch later this year.
Exactly. they're crazy about cross compatibility with that game. Like it's good. I like it.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what's not being broadcast on NBC. The one game you brought up, Overwatch. So
they specifically said that's not happening
this week.
Right now,
right now, or at least for these next big tournaments.
Yeah.
Blizzard has exclusive.
They want their stuff at BlizzCon.
Broadcasting rights with Twitch. So if it's not direct on Blizzard's site, it's not going to be on YouTube. It's not going to be on NBC, TBS. It's going to be on Twitch.
Okay.
So they have a partnership through Amazon where they've said, I think it's their 5 or 6 biggest tournaments for the next year are all going to be, exclusively on Blizzard's, internal network and on Twitch.
Sure.
So this is, I think, the beginning of just like we see, on like mainstream sporting events and on other big, like syndicated media, I guess, you're going to get people bidding and vying for, this content. To get this content on their streaming network because having that exclusive access can help grow.
Absolutely.
Because it brings people to, your streaming service, first of all. And, that's where the ads are placed and whatever else. So it's worth something, to these people.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's a monetary value there.
Yeah.
Like it's worth something. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting because like Overwatch, like Blizzard has always been this company that has like supported the whole like the whole idea of their games being broadcast everywhere all the time, and kind of limiting it in this way is a little bit odd for them, but it might just be because they wouldn't think that NBC would do something like that.
Sure.
And they would make that.
Maybe we're not at that level yet.
We're just not at that point yet. And I think eventually it'll be to the point where we'll be seeing Overwatch on normal television channels.
On
Fox.
I
think on Fox. Maybe not Fox. But,
well, they did something else strange too.
We need to see Melee on Fox.
Melee on Fox.
Only Fox. Final Destination.
So they're also giving for Prime members, yourself included, and this shocked me that you hadn't heard this.
I didn't hear about this.
But you're going home and doing it.
You're getting a golden loot box. You're gonna have to post what you get, okay?
Right.
From your golden loot box, which is one guaranteed legendary item.
Yeah.
This is the first instance that I can tell, at least in the U.S., of them doing anything like this.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it cannot be a duplicate.
It has to be something you don't have.
I've heard.
That's amazing. So this is interesting to me because I like as someone who plays a lot of Overwatch. One of the things that they've said in the past is that every loot box that you receive, once you get it, at the point that you receive it, that is when it is determined what is in there.
Yes.
So when you open it later, like it doesn't matter how long you wait, that will always be the same thing.
Okay.
So is it possible then that if you like hold on to your golden loot box and then you just get that skin by other methods.
Oh, okay.
Right? And then you open it up later, it's a duplicate.
Open it today. Why not open it today, man? It's a golden loot box. It's a special occasion.
For science.
So could it never be a duplicate? Our legendaries decided.
Dude, the thing is, if it's a golden loot box, that means that it's not like an event loot box, right?
Sure.
So it's just a normal,
they specifically said, so there's no event items, there's no anything that's, because there's no event going on.
I think there might be 5 legendary skins in the game I don't have. Like from the regular loot boxes.
You're really gonna narrow it down with this one, baby. Take it down to 4.
Yeah, take it down to 4. So we'll see. I mean, I should what I should do is I should just like get the loot box,
Just let it
buy
sit.
all those skins with coins,
Oh, for science.
and then see what happens. I love the loot box. The game just explodes. Like
So what you need to do for science?
Make sure you stream it.
You have to.
for sure.
No, you have to buy with coins all the skins.
all the skins
first
before
Yes.
I get the loot box.
before you get the loot box.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because
'Cause
like
then,
you said,
at that point,
even if it
it'll change.
determines
Yeah.
it as you
Yeah.
get the loot box, what is it going to do?
Right.
Your game's
It'll
just
give
gonna
me, like,
crash.
a legendary emote for Diva that I don't have.
Oh, yeah, the Game On one, that's true.
Or like, there's other legendary items, but there's not a lot. There's not a whole lot of like, I don't know, man. It's
Name one more. I don't think there's one more that's
I
not a
think that's
seasonal item.
it.
Because Zarya's
Yeah.
is gold. Her like boxing.
Oh yeah, that's
the
a
Russian
seasonal item.
nesting.
That's
box.
a seasonal item that's gold. That's the only other one I can think of that's like an emote that's gold. I think that's
Yeah,
it.
Game On is really not.
yeah. And like Sombra has a great city emote that's like very similar to Game On, but it's a regular emote, and they didn't make that one legendary. So it's so who knows, man?
Science,
For
man.
science.
I would love to do this for science. Okay,
Yeah.
we got to put this
Right.
up. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have the coins?
I might.
Are you willing?
I'm not sure. I gotta double check how many actual legendary skins I don't have, because it might be more than that. But
Yeah, we gotta look
I
into
feel
it.
like I have
We'll do
almost
the
all of
research,
them.
okay?
We'll do the research on it. Let's see.
So that's interesting. And then also you're gonna get 5 regular old loot boxes this month and next month.
And this is for having
whatever the deal
having Prime.
goes on.
Having
for
Prime,
having
yeah.
Prime. Yeah.
Okay.
All Prime members get. I think it's they said specifically for Twitch Prime, but anyone who has Amazon Prime has Twitch Prime.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, so Twitch
you
Prime.
know, by extension, you're good to go.
Somehow I gotta connect that with my Blizzard account in some ways. So they know. Like otherwise, how would they know?
Yeah,
You know?
well, and I was looking into
Yeah.
the comments and stuff on this original post, and it works for console too. It's not a
nice.
PC exclusive.
Nice.
So,
Yeah.
you can get them on PS4 or Xbox One.
Yeah.
If you're part of the Xbox One X Master Race, when that comes out, you'll be able to hopefully redeem it on that.
Sure.
For science,
Yeah.
we'll have to wait to determine.
Yeah.
Right.
We'll do the research, and then it's all gold this week, baby. Kickstarter also announced Kickstarter Gold. So this essentially is their next step for campaigns that were previously successful through Kickstarter to expand them in new ways.
To get
And,
more.
like it's a brand new stretch goal, or it's an expansion of something that they've done before.
Sure.
And there were 50 plus. I was looking through like all the Kickstarter Gold, things that they just launched today, or earlier this week for listeners and viewers of the
Sure.
podcast. And a lot of stuff is like 1,000% funded day one when they launched
Of course
it.
it is.
Yeah.
So these are like the successful campaigns
Right.
that they wanted to bring back. And I did not find, please correct me in the comments, a single video game on the list. Which goes to show you.
Hey, we talked about this.
These
We talked
Kickstarter
about-
video games.
Yeah, we talked about the problem with kickstarting a video game, and it's because of that's the same reason that video game companies try to wait as long as possible before they announce a game.
Yeah.
Because you announce a game 3 years before it comes out. By the time it comes
Interest
out,
fades.
you're not interested anymore.
Fades.
And man, it's a huge problem with Kickstarter video games. I feel like board games do way better because of that.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, are there any board games in there that are interesting?
I'm looking here. So, Rival Realms, is that a board game? It seems like it
know.
is. It
It
says
might be.
it's a fantastique game.
Fantastic.
Fantastica.
Fantastic.
Magical World.
No.
And the first of its kind puzzle game for 2 players.
That might be a video game.
Maybe. I don't know.
Does not seem like it. It seems like a very
Speaking of
much-
gaming and Kickstarter, poor Project Rap Rabbit failed miserably
Yeah.
on their
And actually, we talked about this.
we did
a
talk
little
about
bit
it briefly on a future
yeah, but
yeah.
I remember that
Last
now.
episode.
But even like when I first heard that it failed, I was like, wow, I didn't even know about this.
It was like it failed by like I think it was like $880,000 they
Yeah.
missed it by, and I mean that sucks because the game. What was it from the creators of Parappa the Rapper
Yeah.
and Guitar Man? I mean,
Yeah.
that would have been probably a solid
The
game.
big thing is like
But
the
they're-
reason why Ukulele
Yes.
was so successful is because they advertised the hell out
Yes.
of it, and I knew about
No
Ukulele
one really knew what Project
months
Rabbit
before
was,
it was happening.
unfortunately.
Yeah, because they didn't advertise
Right.
it. They needed to advertise it, and like you say, hey, new game coming from the people who made Parappa the Rapper, and I think all the people who were interested in that
They're
they'd
the
be
ones
all
that
over it. but I didn't know about
I'm
this
so
thing.
disappointed, Andy. This
You
is
know?
definitely a board/card game.
I had never heard of it.
Puzzle game. And you didn't know a single dang thing about it. Yeah, it is 100% like a board/card game.
All right.
So I'm looking on this list for like, Exploding Kittens, like I said, I don't think
Yeah, Exploding Kittens was
they
like
would
one
be
of
on
the-
here, but that was like a super
I'm
successful
really wondering
thing.
like how they're basing this on like the most successful.
Well, there has to be
'cause, like,
at some level the people making the goals and the content have to want to
yeah, because like the
expand
biggest
upon it.
ones were like Exploding Kittens, and then like a Joking Hazard was a big one from the guys who did Cyanide and Happiness.
Wasn't Broken Age on Kickstarter?
What game?
Broken Age?
Yeah, Broken Age was.
That did really well.
Yeah, that did really well. And like, there's a lot of board games
Shenmue
up
3.
there.
It's not out yet, though.
I'm still gonna do that one first. They can be on Kickstarter Platinum.
Yeah. They need to actually produce the thing that they got kickstarted.
Yeah.
It's already been delayed. It's not.
A million
It's,
times.
yeah. Maybe next holiday, 2018.
Jeez.
Maybe.
Table Titans.
I don't know any of these things.
That
but-
seems
well,
like
here's
a
the thing.
D&D thing.
I feel like a lot of these things are projects that are being done by the people who did another project
Yeah,
before.
yeah, yeah.
It might not have anything to do with the original project.
Right.
That's why I don't know about it.
Right.
So like maybe that other puzzle 2-player game is from the guy that made this big game that came out. And I'll have to look into it to see what's actually going on with that.
Yeah, we gotta.
But I don't see anything.
We gotta dig
memorable.
deeper into this.
Yeah.
I see absolutely nothing in there that I recognize at all.
Right.
I definitely recognize. So like they have like Science Abridged in here. That was like he did the Bible Abridged originally.
Sure.
And it was like this tiny little back pocket
Snippets.
like Bible, and it was just like one line like jokes
Yeah.
and puns and stuff like that.
Really?
Like the whole Bible.
That sounds
And
great.
now like the science
I
thing
need
that's
that.
on there. I looked into it because I was like, oh, I recognize this.
This
Like
sounds really good.
essentially like just breaking down
Sure.
like, every different profession into
Sure.
something. So yeah, I mean there's definitely stuff on here I recognize that was other projects. So
I'll look into that and see what's going on. My phone's dead.
well, yeah, we'll look into it, and that'll be an update
Yeah.
for next week.
Yeah.
If
For
we
next
follow
week,
up.
we'll
funded
look
any
see.
Kickstarter
Follow up.
goals.
Yeah.
Follow up.
Kickstarter.
But yeah, I guess this could be the bombshell this week. I don't know. I saved it for last because it hopefully will be. But
Okay.
Atari
Oh,
is
yeah.
releasing a console
Actual.
That we literally
that we
know nothing about.
Awesome.
So let's speculate.
Awesome.
So what do they do? They released like a 20 or 30 second teaser trailer, and basically it's a black screen, and then it zooms into the traditional like wooden frame for the Atari, and the logo, and that's it. And but the website, it says like there's a website in the trailer, and it's Ataribox.com. Go to the website, you sign up for info. They're gonna send you more stuff in the future.
Ataribox.
Ataribox. We're assuming
Pending
that's-
title?
We're assuming
Yeah.
that could be a tentative title or tentative.
They already
for the
had
name,
the website for that.
but they already have the website. So what are
I'm
so?
afraid that this sounds like another like Nintendo like,
Sure.
like NES classics.
And I hope it's not.
Like it's a little like a box shaped like a mini Atari that has a bunch of
That already
Atari,
exists.
Like yeah, I mean but the Nintendo like classic
Yeah.
already existed
Right.
before, like in the form
And
of
a different-
tiny little
yeah.
like,
Well, and Sega's trying again with the
connectable
Genesis
things,
because they just kind of
Yeah, I just saw that today.
the last one
Yeah.
big time.
Yeah.
They tried to like it was like the big thing. Oh, you guys are sold out of the NES Classic. Well, we have this thing. I heard it's all right. Like
Yeah.
it plays Genesis games and it has like certain ones already pre-installed on there.
Yeah.
Sounds great on the surface. Like wow, all my favorite. And then it was like
Yeah.
the execution was not there.
Right.
On
Damn.
Nintendo's level.
Yeah.
On any level.
But I do want to speculate about the Atari box. Like, would you guys be interested in purchasing something that was on the same level or competed with the PS4 or an Xbox One?
Like Atari releasing
Like Atari releasing
Andy
something.
doesn't even want to buy one of those.
Right, but I'm saying like,
true.
would you
That's
want it?
true.
Would you want something like
got
that
a
from
PC.
Atari?
I will say right now, I don't think Atari is capable of making
I don't think so either.
a hardware that will compete with
I don't think
PS4
so either.
or Xbox One.
I don't think
I
so
don't
either.
think that's possible. Maybe they're trying
They've
to
been
make
a little
something.
too quiet.
But they have a new.
They've been working on this for years.
They have a new CEO that is trying to change the image of the Atari.
Yeah,
like that. That's why this whole thing started.
I highly doubt that it's like a new console with new IPs and new software. Like I feel like they're trying to. Like as Atari has always done, like I feel like they're just, but in a different way. Nostalgia. Yeah, cash in on nostalgia, but in a different way. You know, they're seeing like, oh, the Nintendo, like the NES Classic was the most like ridiculously like popular thing ever. You know, and like let's just ride that cash cow and make our own version.
If that is the case, I love the marketing tactic in that they don't just tell us, oh, that's what it is.
We just have to,
we have to speculate.
We just have to sit here and be like, what is this thing? You know what I mean?
And here's the thing. When they come out with it and they say that it's that, right?
Yeah.
How disappointed is everyone?
I know.
You know, everyone's going to be so disappointed because they're like, what could it have been?
What I want...
Whatever, man. I want to play Tank. Come on.
What I want from Ataribox, I want like another 16-bit or 32-bit type of system that releases new games. Like, entice companies like Konami, who isn't doing much right now, and Capcom, who still has a strong foothold.
Or your indie developers.
And indie developers.
They're out there
like
making
Shovel
games
Knight,
that steal that style.
Like Shovel Knight and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Let's make new games like that on the Ataribox.
That would be
and
great.
have it be something that's totally unique.
I love that dream.
Yeah.
But that's what it is.
That's my dream, and it's never going to happen.
Never know.
But that's my speculation.
But here's the thing. I feel like the NES Classic was like perfectly timed to the point where like they released the NES Classic for all of the people who are spending tons of money at this particular generation because they played NES when they were kids.
Yeah.
You know? The Atari, though, on the other hand, I feel is like it's in a weird time frame because first of all, the games are
and they don't have Mario.
Yeah, and they don't have but the
Sonic.
games they don't have Super Mario Bros. 3, you know, like they don't have like, you know, all these
but they had really Pac-Man.
Yeah, they had Pac-Man. Yeah, but I'm talking Atari Did you play the Atari 2600 version of Pac-Man? That's not Pac-Man.
I did.
You know? That's a very different game, you know? So if they're releasing like all those classic like Pong, you know, like I don't know, man.
Where's the Philips CDI box? That's what we need.
CDI box.
You know what I mean? Like that's something that's hard to find.
Like
there's
the wand of Gamelon.
Yeah. You walk into a Walmart and there's like a video game novelty section and you just like are tripping over Pac-Man. You know what I mean?
I would love a remaster of those Zelda games on the CDI.
On the Switch. On the Switch. Remastered version.
Nintendo, lean in.
Remastered
Come on now.
Full 3D, right? Like in the Breath of the Wild style. You know, that exact same story from Wand of Gamelon.
Well, you know what they say about toasters, Mario. Like, I don't know.
Damn.
So I do like, I hope, and I dream. Give indie devs like a home.
Right.
They're making all these games, and they're biting off this style. And
they're getting lost on Steam.
And you know what?
I mean, like, there's so much stuff on there.
Like, the Switch has so much potential to be.
It does.
It has so much potential to be that home for indie developers now. Right now, it's Steam. You know, Steam is the home for indie developers.
And that's what, like I just said, they're getting lost on Steam.
The issue is
they're getting lost on Steam.
The Switch is $299.99.
Yes.
Okay? Whereas the Atari box could come in at an Ouya price point. Ooh, I hate to compare it to that.
Don't do that.
It's already dead.
No, you killed it.
It's already dead.
It could be $99 or $79.
Yeah.
And if it's gonna run games like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's gonna run them well.
Yep.
And that's my desktop box. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I don't have to go out and buy a laptop or buy a Switch, or buy a desktop, and I'm spending $300, $400, $500.
Yeah.
So it's a cheap Steam box.
Sure, yeah. But I do feel like. But the thing about the Steam box streams from your PC.
Yeah.
So if you have a super
that's the Steam
PC,
Link. The Steam.
Well, the Steam box is like an actual PC.
Or like the actual
PCs, but it's running. I mean, that their OS just hasn't picked up a lot of.
It was.
I don't know if it's hard to develop for.
But I feel like the big like benefit that the Switch has is its portability.
Yes.
For games like that, games like Harvest Moon and like games
Stardew Valley,
like Stardew Valley, you know, like games like that I would love to play on the go when I'm not at home. You know, like it doesn't like having a $99 like home console to play those indie games, like why don't I just do it on my laptop that I already have or my PC that I already have?
Some people have that. A lot of people don't have that luxury.
Yeah, but I feel like,
and I think putting it at
the thing is,
an aggressive price point, even if it's
a reasonable
$59,
price point,
and you've got the Atari Classics on there, and
that'd be a good idea. Yeah, that'd be cool.
You've got the Atari Classics on there, and you have the ability for people to develop for it, and they have people that have been working in the background. You know what I mean? They've already talked to Konami.
New Castlevania. Here we go.
They've already talked to these other developers, and they are ready to showcase. Even if it's just Atari themselves, they're ready to showcase how, hey, this is a platform that if you're making games like this, why would you not release it for this? Okay? Yeah. So it's easy. That means, AKA, if this easy to port to. You know what I mean?
If this new CEO is really serious about what he's doing.
Oh, he did say it was CPU architecture. So that we do know that.
Interesting.
The new CEO. Yeah. So that does leave a lot of credibility to what you were just saying.
So, sure, but I mean, it also leads credibility to a Raspberry Pi
it could be.
Like emulator.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it could just be that basic level, but that's that next step. Atari. If you're gonna take that next step,
if you're already doing this, just take
you are suddenly the breeding ground for all these amazing indie games and all these games that fit that, and all your RPG Maker and all your other stuff. And it's at a really aggressive price point.
And you know what? That
makes you relevant.
That would be a brilliant move for them to make, but
absolutely.
I just don't think that's what it is. I just don't think that's what
Who's going to step up?
We can hope.
Who's going to fill that void? Sega. Or is it a lost cause and everyone should just go buy a $1,000 PC that can play those type of games and Overwatch
But here's the thing. You know what I mean? You don't need a $1,000 PC to play those games. You need a laptop that runs Minecraft to play those games.
But you know what I mean? And even less than Minecraft, I think.
Yeah.
Minecraft can be an intensive game to run. But people don't think
with
of
the
that.
super duper ultra
people don't
4K.
The issue is the perspective.
Yeah.
People don't think of that as a gaming laptop if it's a $300 laptop.
Yeah.
Because it's not.
It's not a gaming laptop, and so you don't have that perspective. And when you start cutting out the cost for the internal components, you've already cut out the nice features. You've already cut out a backlit keyboard. You've already cut out, nice metal bodies, and it's plastic, and it doesn't feel right, and the touchpad's not good and responsive, and there's no consistent controller, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
People, it just doesn't have that low barrier to entry that something like this could have.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it sounds great, but the thing is, I don't know, it's really hard to gauge the audience for that, because, if it's me, I would rather have my Switch for that. Even though I'd pay 3 times as much for it, or even more than that.
Yeah, but you already paid 3 times as much.
It's so much more.
And you already paid 10 times as much for your PC. I have, what I mean? So you already have that. So is there space? Is there a market of people who want that? One thing that's for one thing. Their retro style game device.
I think so, because I think you just look at the NES Classic and look how well that did.
Does it have to be portable?
I think the NES Classic sold on nostalgia,
which they could capture with the Atari.
No, it's a collectible device. Yeah. It was cute and Mario.
It looks like a little.
And it came out holiday season, which this could be poised to do.
This could be this year.
When they're announcing it in this window.
I don't think that an Atari system that does a similar thing would sell nearly as well as that. Because
probably
people aren't
not, but you never know.
You got to take that step forward.
Got to try.
So if they were to take that step forward.
If they were to take that step forward, it might.
And if they're not going to take the step forward, which I don't necessarily think that they are.
I don't think
is there room? Can someone come in? Can there be an amazing Ouya that people want to develop for? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And want to make these classic games.
As I was saying, if that CEO for Atari is really serious and he's really working with these indie developers, right? He would have to really prove it by working with these indie developers and getting these people like Nintendo currently is.
You want to not necessarily just you can't go out and hold people's hands and say, well, check out this thing. You got to make stuff for it. You got to set the precedent.
Yeah.
You got to release that new
Atari first party titles.
First party or that new title or that new something. But, that's going to bring other people in.
I love the idea, but I feel like this is a pipe.
It's not going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen.
I would love
Atari.
for that.
I don't think it's going to happen for Atari.
Yeah.
But I'm just
curious
asking,
to see what it is.
Again, they're a market.
could someone
fill
do
that
it?
void?
Possibly.
Who's gonna do it?
I just don't know that it's
Amazon?
a big enough void. that
Amazon,
anybody
I think,
filling all
wants
the
to do it.
voids.
Amazon, I think, is the one that could do it probably the best.
They have
Because
a couple
they
developers
already
on staff,
started. Yeah, I was just gonna say they already started the Amazon game division.
You know.
So
what's
Maybe.
the next step for that? You know.
Maybe. Yeah. I
We
mean,
haven't heard from them.
Amazon is just the same type of company that would do something weird like that.
didn't they
You know,
buy like a major studio as well? I forget which studio. It
Yeah,
was.
it was Helix something. I want to say.
Something like that. They bought them from like Microsoft or something. I don't remember.
They bought a
Yeah, they bought a major studio.
or a studio.
Yeah.
Wow.
I wouldn't say,
But that was like
we're not talking Ubisoft.
That was
We're
like
not talking
2 or 3 years
major
ago.
Publisher / developer.
Yeah, but it was
We're talking.
They did some they did some quality stuff if I remember correctly. But yeah, that was like 2 or 3 years ago, and we have not heard a single thing.
Yeah, it's been a while. We're overdue.
Yeah.
So
maybe
Atari, man, you gotta get something out right now because your clock's ticking.
Amazon's coming. Amazon's coming.
A lot of the stuff that I would love Atari to do, like I feel like they probably just don't even have the capital to do it.
Sure.
You know, like I mean, they haven't been doing anything real lately. I mean,
Sure.
It's not real lucrative. You know.
That's the thing.
What do they got?
You know, they've got old Atari games, you know, and that's why I think it's just a bunch of old Atari games. Fancy box.
In a box.
We got, but we're at that peak of you know. This media is getting oversaturated. Everything's the same thing. It's a first-person shooter. Everybody's getting to that point, I feel like, where they want to go back and they want to relive this nostalgia.
Oh yeah.
Why not go forward and relive the nostalgia? Play a game, you know what I mean?
Play
and
a
there's
new
tons
game.
of stuff that's come out that has done well, you know, that would do well on even minimal processing power.
Yeah.
And it's a style of a retro game, like Undertale, like
Yeah.
Shovel Knight, like, you know, these
Well,
other games.
I think one of the things we also have to keep in mind is that games like that, although they look like classic games, they are developed very differently from classic games.
Yeah.
Sure.
Meaning that they are actually much more intensive than those old classic games were. You know, so games like Shovel Knight, for example, like it's a really low poly, like really just like low, you know, like resolution game, but it's made with larger resolution textures and larger resolution like processing stuff that is much more intensive than a classic game would have been at the time. That
it's
looks
more
like
intensive,
Right.
You know?
but the technology's gotten, you know, that far.
Sure, but not for $50.
Not for $50. But if it's aggressively priced and it's, you know, I'm saying 99 is like the aggressive price point.
might be possible.
Because that's a third of the price, or
Yeah.
half the price, or it's cheaper than buying a 360. You know what I mean? Even pre-owned. It's cheaper than buying a 360 or a PS3 today.
Yeah.
It won't be by this fall, probably.
People are buying like Chromebooks like for $100 and then hacking that Chromebook and playing Smash Bros on it.
Yeah.
You know, like it runs. Like it actually runs, you know, so the processing power is there in these less expensive like Pentium processors, you know. So and you know Intel wants to get rid of those, you know.
Yeah.
So I mean, work with
For
like
sure.
Intel, you know, like Google is,
Yeah.
you know, with their Chromebooks because that's a great like way to get rid of some of that old stuff that they overproduced, you know. And make a small simple gaming system out of that. Like that would be really interesting. Somebody could do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's the real question is the market really there? Like, is it really that small niche? That's because it's such a niche market. Like it's, you know, the person who wants to buy a $100 little console, hook it up to their TV and play something on their TV like that.
Or, I mean, you know, the potential's there for portability. The battery is where it gets expensive.
That's and it like once you go
Let me put 2 double A's in a Game Boy, baby. You know what I mean?
once you go from something with an HDMI port in it to something that actually has a screen built in, that has a battery built in, that increases the price point hugely.
Yeah.
You know,
By a lot.
and at that point, $100 is not going to cut it.
Right.
Yeah.
You know.
Sure.
And then we're getting into Switch territory. You know, I mean, it's like even if we get up to $200, why not pay an extra $100 for a Switch? And then you have
Mario
you have
and
both,
Zelda.
You know, you have
yeah.
the home console, and then you have a portable thing. I feel like the Switch is filling this void. You know, like even though it's more expensive, it just makes so much more sense. You know, like,
And I hope that they can,
Yeah.
but they're not the sweetheart yet. You know, they're not to that point yet.
If they
where that's like the
continue-
definitive place.
Yeah,
to take
if they
games like
continue
this.
on their trend of releasing these really great indie titles,
Yeah.
you know, like and I feel like they're heading in a great direction with
They
that,
are.
with all these really like with Kingdom,
With the
and,
Nindies.
like with
Blaster
the
Master
Nindies,
Zero,
Blaster
and-
Master,
yeah.
yeah, you know, and
Gotta
like
get my
all these-
Nindies.
There's some good indie titles coming out
Yeah.
for the Switch, and I want to see more of that. And if they
Yeah.
keep going with that, they are it. They
Yeah.
are it. Nobody else is going to be able to touch it.
Maybe they'll put Ooblets on the Switch.
I don't know what that is.
It was from the PC gaming show. It was one of the games that Andy was really excited about.
Nice.
Okay.
I want to see
Clutchy
I want to see
free reference.
Wylands.
Wylands on the Switch.
Yeah, yeah.
Minecraft 2.0. Oh man.
Super duper.
Yeah.
And that's all I had planned for this
Yeah.
week. I like to leave a little bit open if you guys have anything that you wanted to add or anything big you've been playing.
No, nothing really. I mean, I played a little bit of Dead for Daylight.
Okay.
Yeah, I have
that
a-
just
I have-
launched
I
on
have a
Xbox
friend that's
One. Did it just
really,
launch on
really
PC?
into
I
that.
think. Well, it's been on PC for a long time.
Yeah.
It's been in alpha for
Okay.
a while.
Pre-release, if you
Yeah, pre-release, and so I got a chance to play a few rounds of that with some friends. I can say right now, off like. It is much more fun if you have a full complement of 5 people
Yeah.
to play that game, you know, because if you're just jumping into like online matchmaking, they only have like full like competitive like ranked modes to play this game, and there's no
And
like,
everybody else has been playing it
and
for
everyone else is
early
playing-
access.
It's a
and you're just
perfect
like-
example of one of those games
Yeah.
where like you jump in and
Jump
you just
in early.
get wrecked.
Yeah.
You know, like it is not that I have not won a game of that either as the killer or as a survivor.
survivor.
Like it is really difficult. Like I've won games when I have all my friends there.
Sure.
But that's because I only have 3 people in total.
Let's just hop
playing
on
that game.
Evolve, baby. It's gonna be all 3
Yeah.
people online.
You know?
Let's
There you
go.
go. There you go.
And you know, otherwise, I feel like it has a lot of. I feel like it has a lot of potential, but they
Yeah.
really have to work on their balance for first players, like people who are jumping in for the first time. They really have to make that experience more fun for them,
Yeah.
because you jump in as a single player and you get put up against a bunch of people who know what they're doing. And they have tons of these perks that they've unlocked that
Yeah.
you don't have access to. They literally have an advantage. Even if you work
Oh, so like it's like a Star Wars Battlefront
Yeah.
type thing.
Yep.
where
Exactly.
You go in and
It's-
you have the cheater gun because you paid $10 more.
Exactly.
Yep.
And so you can
You
kill
know?
me faster.
And
Yep.
yeah, and I don't think that there's like a pay to play sort of situation, but the more that you've played, the more you get these actual items and perks
Yeah.
that give you an advantage in the game. And like the killers can get those and the survivors can get those.
Right.
And there's just no way to balance that out for someone who's just jumping into the game. It pushes
Sure.
people away.
Yeah.
You know, so I feel like they can
I'm
work
enchanted.
on
I want to look at that tonight. Let's
Yeah.
play.
that. Yeah. So if they work on that, I feel like it's got a lot of potential because it's fun to play. It's just
super
not
fun.
fun to lose
Yeah.
every game. You know? So
And we already know Brian's been playing nothing for fun, everything for review.
Everything for review. I do want to give a shout out to Nex Machina, which just came out on PS4 and PC. I'll have a review up on that probably yesterday as reviewing this, so
Okay.
watch that. But yeah, it's a beautiful and vibrant twin stick shooter from Housemarque, which is what that's their specialty. You think Resogun, you think Super Stardust Ultra, Dead Nation, everything that they've done.
Geometry
Quite the
Wars.
resume.
Geometry Wars.
No, that wasn't them,
That wasn't
unfortunately.
them.
But it's a similar
Sort of game.
similar style.
Yeah.
But awesome graphics, awesome soundtrack.
Aegis Wing.
Very, very fun game. And then I'm actually jumped into Valkyria Chronicles, which comes out next week.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I'm working on that now, and yeah, a lot of fun. Love it.
Alrighty, guys. And well, that's all we have for this week. As always, I'm Alex.
I'm Andy.
And I'm Brian.
And thanks for taking the time to hang out. Later.
See ya.
Yo.
Hey guys, thanks for watching that video. I hope you liked it. I really hope you enjoyed it. Please leave a like and subscribe because that would be awesome. And if you're interested, check out our other videos here, and subscribe over there. Really helps us out. I appreciate it. Catch you in the next one.